Today, we're gonna be doing a 10-minute no crunching abs and core workout. So I have 10 different plank variations in the workout today. And quick housekeeping note, if at any point you start feeling your low back during any of the plank variations, just go down to the knees and finish the set in kneeling position. Other than that, no more messing around. Let's get into the workout. All right, let's get this challenge rocking. 10 different plank variations, 40 seconds of work, followed by 20 seconds of rest. You're gonna join me for the first one on the hands to start. Feet just a little bit outside your mat here. And we are rocking right now. So come all the way down to your forearms, hold for a second, and then come all the way back up. So notice my tempo. I'm not trying to speed through this. All right, I want to think there's a glass of water sitting on my back. And as I go all the way up and all the way down, I am not spilling it. You could absolutely narrow your feet to make that a little bit more difficult. Just make sure your hips aren't rocking all over the place, and we can control the movement up and down. All right, another 10 seconds here. And I'm just gonna finish down here. 2, 1, and good. All right, we're going side plank for the next one. So just a couple tips for your side plank here. Feet stacked if you can. If that's a little bit too much, go with the staggered position like so. But get that elbow set. All right, we're gonna do 40 seconds one side, 40 seconds the other. And lift off. All right, I always tend to be a little bit too low, so I'm gonna push myself back. That should be about good. Got elbow just right under the shoulder. I'm going feet stacked here. And a lot of people mess this up. They go too high on their side plank. I just wanna get right here. Everything's in a nice straight line. And this distance from hip to ground, we're just trying to maintain, right? Keep it level. All right, good. Core's tight. Just try to get a little squeeze of the glutes and just hang on. All right, close. All right, and nice. All right, just 20 seconds on the rest. Gonna go pretty quick. Just roll it over, even this out. Again, if you had your feet stacked and you were felt really wobbly, just go here, or you could, I think you go that top leg over. We're going top leg over. All right, get that elbow set, stack the feet or stagger, and lift off. That feels good. Right here, good distance from hip to ground, just staying level. I always like to try to roll this shoulder back. So trying to not be right here. All right, putting a lot of weight on that shoulder. I wanna get everything back. Nice and neutral, shoulder stacked, hip stacked, knees stacked, and just hanging on. And don't push the hips too high. Try not to let them drop. Right, we're just hanging on here. Right, getting these obliques fired up. Good. And very nice. All right, what do we got? Oh yeah, tall plank, sorry. It's just looking at my list of exercises there. So we're gonna do all tall plank on this one. So we're gonna stay on the hands. Again, with planking, I wanna really focus on stability, keeping the core nice and tight. So don't try to speed through this here. All right, let's do it. And we are rocking. So right hand to left foot. I gotta do a little better on the next one. There we go. All right, bring them together. Little tap. Tighten those abs up. I think somebody's gonna come give you a little punch or a little kick in the stomach. We're braced. We're ready for it. Good. Oh, that's working. And it's working. That was a little sloppy. I gotta get it back. All right, I'm gonna get one more here. And excellent. All right, a classic side to side twist. All right, I don't want to contradict myself too much here. This one we can have a little speed on, but I still want to control. I'm watching you. I want it to look nice and smooth, not going crazy. All right, let's get it. All right, I'm gonna get set. And then just a little rock to the right, a little rock to the left. And just keep going back and forth. Try to mimic my tempo right here. Good. We'll get a little extra obliques here. We'll also try to maintain, our hips up. I don't want to be rocking down here. I still want to be up here Hips roughly in line with the shoulders in the middle. All right. Rock it in a good way. Should say rotating. 2, 1, and good. Right. Around the world, nice and controlled. And we're gonna be all tall plank on this. Like a way to progress our planks is to add a little movement while still holding this area right here nice and controlled. So let's do this. I'm gonna go inside the mat on this one. All right, I'm gonna reach out, little tap of the ground. Reach out, little tap of the ground, little toe tap to the right, little toe tap to the left. Abs are super tight. Ready for a little punch in the stomach or a big punch in the stomach. All right, and that glass of water is still sitting on your low back without spilling. Good job. Another toe tap, another toe tap. Bring it, 2, 1, and nice. All right, we're gonna go side plank, and I love adding a little, this kind of oblique crunch to the side plank here. So get set. Right, again, feet staggered if you need to, or stack them. I'll give you a couple cues as we're going through this. Lift up, and then just a little bit down, and back up. Notice where I'm stopping at the top. It's just right back at our starting position. I'm not going super high on these. And that should really get your obliques fired up here. Oh, good job. Getting tough. Try to keep up with me here. Another 10 seconds. So a little dip, right back to the start. A little dip, right back to the start. And good. All right, bring it over. Same thing on the other side. All right, enjoy our 20 seconds here. Get everything set, everything stacked. Same deal. A little dip, just back to your starting point. Not going super high. And up. Little dip. Right in there. Right in there. Good. Short dip and up. Hold for a second or two when you're back at the top. Love these. Absolutely love these. Ooh, that's getting tough. We're burning. Good. About 3, 4 more dips. 2, 1, and awesome. Seesaw. Right, so understand on the seesaw, when we go back, that's gonna be the toughest part of the plank. So your objective here is to keep your hips up as we move the lever back. So core nice and tight, glutes really tight, and we're gonna bring our feet back a little bit more than we normally do. All right, rock back. Right there, that's tough. Good, bring it back. I'm just looking right over my fist to start, and I'm gonna seesaw back. Your hips are gonna wanna drop. Your back's gonna wanna arch. Don't let it. Excellent. Good tempo. Core squeezed. Glutes pretty tight. Helping to protect that back. Yep. Awesome. Good here. All right, give me another 2, 1, and excellent. All right, our last one. We're gonna go back to the high-low plank, but we're gonna add in a shoulder tap at the top. So this one, we're gonna start on the forearms. Get the feet wide, again, just outside the mat is fine, or a little narrower if you want a little extra challenge to finish this up. All right, well, let's do it. All right, all the way up, then shoulder tap, all the way back down. All the way back up, shoulder tap, controlling the hips. Back down, little pause. Come on, keep those abs nice and tight. Should be burning pretty good here. We got the obliques. All right, we got the deep core muscles with our plank holds, tall plank holds. Yeah, we got it all. All right, let's go another 10 seconds here. Bring it up. One more shoulder tap. 2, 1, and awesome. 10-minute plank challenge dominated. If you struggled with any of those, just keep going back and repeating this video till you can do that without having to come down to the knees, without stopping. Again, being able to do that for 10 minutes without doing any of those, your core's pretty strong. We're looking pretty good. All right, next up, challenge time, push-up challenge. Just 6 minutes, but there is some options to make that a little bit tougher. So go check that one out. I will see you in the next video. Well done. Dominated. Dominated.